Right, boys, today I'm going to talk about all three Warlock specs. This is just based on how I play them. It doesn't mean necessarily they're the best way to play them. I'm by no means the best PvPer in the world, but I know what I'm talking about. Also, 61% of you are not subscribed that watch my videos. So if you like the videos, please consider subscribing if you want more content like this. All right, let's get into the video. So my current rating right now is 1802s, 2003s. Obviously, you know, the PvP is kind of a meme now, but a lot of people want to learn how to play Warlock, and I'm going to show you. All right, let's get into the video. Right, I'm going to start with Demonology. So I go for the stamina and fell synergy because you don't want your pet to die, right? These two, you could go for the Hellstone. It's good, but me personally, I don't want my pet to die, okay? So these two, very important as well. Kind of want them too. You don't necessarily need this because your pet's kind of tanky, right? I can check how much my pet has. 7,000 HP. It feels kind of tanky, especially if I can heal it myself, right? So you don't necessarily need this. Soul Link, obviously, you want to go for that. Spell Domination and Demonic Aegis. This gives you 30 spell power with Fell Armor. So it's, you know, very useful. Also, if you're struggling, you can always use Demon Armor and you get healed for 26% more. So if you're the focus target, you can swap armor, get healed for more, and you get more armor. So between the times you have Metamorphosis, you can do that if you want to survive. And Holy Power, basic, you want your pet to do more damage, and it does a lot of damage. Master Summoner, same goes with that. If you lose your pet, you want to be able to summon it fast, especially with Feldam. Now, Master Conjurer. I think this is probably one of the best talents in Demonology. The reason being is it's 120 haste, right? 120 haste is insane. Usually it's 30, but 120 gives you 12% haste. You can also go for 112 crit. Personally, I like using Spellstone instead, using this build. It's more fluid. Without your cooldowns, it's also more damage. You're faster getting your dots out, faster getting fears, etc. Now, you don't necessarily need this. You can go for this. Sometimes my pet goes in a long fight. Personally, I'd rather just have these two. The games don't last long enough in arena. Fights usually don't last long enough for your pet to go Master Demonologist, obviously very, very good. Between the times you have Metamorphosis, you're going to be dotting a lot. And you're going to get Molten Core with Major Spellstone, with the haste that you have. You're going to be casting Incinerate quite fast, like a 1.5 second cast. And it does a lot of damage. It can create like 1.1k in PvP. So yeah, definitely go for Molten Core. Demonic Knowledge, more spell power. We all like spell power. Demonic Empowerment. You should use this a lot, right? It's 42-second cooldown. Your pet does a lot of damage. Get used to using it. Even, you know, you can macro it into your Metamorphosis. I do that, but I also have it over here to use between my Metamorphosis as well. Demonic Resilience makes you more tanky. And the beauty about this spec is you're super tanky. And you're even more tanky. When you have Metamorphosis, you're pretty much just a tank, right? You're a tank that does a lot of damage. The meta that we have right now, that's very beneficial. You know what I mean? I'm usually not the target. And if I am, I'm using Immolation Aura and they're burning. I don't go for Decimation because in PvP, let's be honest, a lot of the time, you're not going to be able to cast Shadow Bolt or Incinerate on a target under 35% and actually get a use out of it. You would need a Molten Core proc, and you would need Decimation. That's 10-second proc. While a target's under 35%, you might get it when he's under 35%, and he gets healed again. You might get some uses of it. I personally wouldn't play it. It's just very inconsistent. It's more of a PvE talent. Demonic Tactics, obviously very good for your pet. It is unfortunate we can't go for improved Demonic Tactics because your pet does a lot of damage. But I'd rather have Metamorphosis more often. Go for the Felguard, very good. Demonic Pact gives you more spell power, also very good. We want to stack spell power. Spell power, haste, and crit are all good. You can play with either Firestone or Spellstone. I played majority of my games up to 2k with the crit Spellstone and, you know, the crit gear as well. However, now I'm seeing more of a value in haste. Because a lot of the time, when the higher rating you get, the more healers can deal with your burst, and the people know how to play against it. So the games tend to be longer. So technically, you want Major Firestone when you have Metamorphosis. So if you have 2 weapons to swap, if you're okay with buying a weapon, like having 2 weapons and having Spell Power Enchant on both of them, so you can swap weapons mid-arena between when you have your cooldowns and whatnot, you can do that. I personally just see Major Firestone, Spellstone being better overall. And then Metamorphosis, of course. Makes you super tanky. I have around 5,000 armor with it. Usually, if I'm getting bursted by 2 people and I have a healer, I'm completely fine. Let's go for the Mystic Enchants. I like this. I like Curse Weaver. There is not a lot of epic ones that we can use as Demonology. This only goes for fire. It works for your Incinerate. So, don't really want to use that. We're not casting Incinerate a lot in Arena, realistically. So what we go for is Curse Weaver to be able to use Curse of Elements. Because you kind of want to get Curse of Elements on the targets before you go for your burst. Sometimes you can't, but it's a lot of damage increase. You want to be able to use Curse of Tongues, Agony, 2 curses, very good. As you can see, Endless Flames increases the duration and increases the damage. I've had Shadow Flame in Metamorphosis with cooldown create up to like 1.6k on a player. It does a lot of damage. So it just increases your burst. So yeah, I would always go for Endless Flames. Pure Shadow, you can play around with this. You can stack this up with rank 1 Shadow Bolt. That's what I did in the video where I got the triple kill for around 12k damage with Shadow Crash. That's what I did. I stacked this up to 6. You don't necessarily have to do it. You can play around with it in BGs and this and that, but it's the only option realistically that we have for Arena. Everything else is kind of, doesn't really matter. I tried the Searing Pain, doesn't really work. I'd rather just try and get 2 or 3 stacks before you burst again with Metamorphosis. If you get 2 Shadow Bolts and Shadow Burn, you go for the Shadow Crash one-shot, that's gonna be 15% more damage on your Shadow Crash. Might as well do it. This is mostly useful for your Immolate, but you can use it on your Shadow Bolt too. You can change this around for, increased duration on Metamorphosis. It is maybe better to survive, and also Immolation Aura is 30 seconds, right? This makes your Metamorphosis 36 seconds. So you can use Immolation Aura twice. So you got it for the first 14 seconds, and then you can use it again for the last 16 seconds. For the last 6 seconds. You can do that, or if you're in long games, this is probably better. Because you want to be able to cast Immolate, you want to be able to cast Incinerate, you want to be able to do some consistent damage. If you don't have this and people sit on you, it's going to be rough. Ruin, of course. Ruin is very beneficial. Makes your Shadow Crash hit like a truck. So, and, the rest of your spells, just a mandatory Glyph or a mandatory Mystic Enchant. Felguard, attack power, worth it. He does a lot of damage. We like Shadow Burn because during our burst window of Metamorphosis, we like to use instant. Shadow Burn does way more damage because Metamorphosis increases your damage by 20%. And it's during my Blood Fury, it's during my Spell Power Trinket. A lot of the time I can get to like 1000 Spell Power. With that, Shadow Burn can do 1.3k crits, which is very good. Obviously doesn't do nearly that damage. It does like maybe 600 crits normally, 700. Being in Metamorphosis, it bumps up the damage a lot. Also, it stacks Pure Shadow. It gives you one stack. So if you have 2 stacks of it and you want to keep it up, having an instant is worth it. Demonic Leap, I think this is mandatory for playstyles. You want to be able to get somewhere quick, right? So with Demonic Leap and Demonic Charge, you're very mobile. You can be so far away and you can still engage. I can be 40 yards away, and if I see people stacked, I can Demonic Leap, charge in, and blow them up. It's crazy. Some people like to run Unending Resolve. It can be purged, dispelled. I personally don't like it. You can use Blood Horror. If you get 5 people, you can use that right after. While you have Immolation Aura, it can be good, but again, then you only have your Demonic Leap, which is a 45-second cooldown. Then you only have that to engage. So a lot of the time, you'll miss out on targets that are stacked 3 to 4 together because you're running over there instead of just leaping. The playstyle for this spec is essentially you don't just pop Metamorphosis out of the blue and just charge in and do it. You try to get dots out there. You don't show that you don't really want to show that you have Metamorphosis. People now know that you are threat as Demonology. You don't really want to show it. So just throw dots out there. You want to use Curse of Tongues on healers, casters, get dots out there, drain mana, all that stuff. And when they stack, when you see an opportunity, that's when you do it. It's either if you see an opportunity or if you need pressure. Because Metamorphosis is a lot of pressure. And people have to completely change their playstyle because of Metamorphosis right now. Because it's so overpowered. Right, I'm going to show my gear. I am running the crit gear right now. I have 4 pieces of the haste. I probably made a mistake with the crit gear, but I'm working on the haste gear too. I would recommend going for the haste gear instead of the crit gear. The crit gear can make a lot of, it can be a lot of fun. I played with Major Firestone on my weapon. As you can see, in PvP, I had 29% crit. You can also get this trinket, very cheap right now. This gives you 210 crit. I think I got up to like 44% crit with it. So if you charge in with Metamorphosis and you have 44% crit with Shadow Crash, you're probably going to one-shot some people. Yep, 44% crit. I run this. This is a Warforged item. This is very good because we tend to go Warlocks tend to go very fast right now. So this is super beneficial. You can get this neck in Feralas right over here in the pool. And then you can upgrade it. It doesn't really cost a lot to upgrade it. Same goes with the gear. This is just the Honored gear or Arena gear. Very easy to get. Heroic Bloodforged hit rating. You want to get 100 health on your chest. I bought these. They're quite expensive, but I feel like they're very, very good. 66 item level. I could maybe see in the future 5-set being good too. This is just the Honor Staff. Around 5,000 honor right now after the patch. Used to be around 60 or 50,000. I got this 66 item level wand just in high risk. It has haste, doesn't have spell power, but I like the haste. Fused emblem, spell power, we love that. Ring, hit rating, and spell pen, haste, and your spell power, and just the basic pieces, right? And we put haste on the gloves too. What you want to do? So right now I have 5.13 hit, right? I want to drop some hit. I bought some pieces because they're high item level and they're beneficial. I do want to drop some hit and try and go for haste instead. Spell penetration, the more you have, the better, essentially. But I would get enough to cover at least Mark of the Wild. You want to be able to get spell penetration to cover fire resistance aura, shadow resistance aura, shadow protection from priests. Right now I'm running Metamorphosis, so I can use either shadow or fire. In general, you want to try and bump this number up. Haste rating, as you can see, I have 4.40%, but once I put this on, 16.40%, which is insane. That's very good haste, right? I lose some crit. I lose around 8% crit. I actually lose exactly 8% crit, but I get loads more haste. Right, I'm going to show you some clips. As you can see, this is in 3v3, 3 melees, perfect scenario for a demo Warlock. And they're charging in, and they're going to try and kill probably our priest. I'm also playing with another Warlock, and he Shadow Crashes too. They pretty much just get one shot. Oh, all of them. See their HP.
See ya!
Do this again. Look at their HP. Oh!
See ya!
And as you can see, I have
easy
right?
AoE.
He did a lot of damage. And I'm sure this pisses a lot of people off. I get it. I get it. It's overpowered. Throw another one. This showcases how powerful Demonic Leap is. Lower the volume a bit. And they're all dead. And I'm having fun with it too. You know? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun playing this pack. Good. Same here. Trinket. Big damage. He's dead. And I pretty much just solo all of them.
See ya!
When people stack, this spec is insane, right? People seem to stack a lot for some reason. Here is in BGs,
like
if you
this.
see groups of people,
Hoppa!
jump
Hoppa!
in.
Clip it.
I had 25k damage done, right now. The pressure you can do is insane. That's it for demo. Let's go over some Destro. So go over the talents. Bane, cast time reduction. We want that, of course. We don't use Shadow Bolt. Molten Skin, you take less damage. We like that. Aftermath, insanely good for your conflict rate to slow. Ruin, we all know what Ruin does. Just increases your damage. Shadow Burn, we like Shadow Burn. Don't go for Searing Pain. We never use it. We're very, we barely use it. Destructive Reach. Reach is good. Pushback reduction, good. Improved Immolate, we like that. Devastation, we like that. Now, this might be controversial. This is 3% crit. Personally, I don't like it because Incinerate doesn't really do a lot of damage. Sorry to say. Incinerate, if you're not using Chaos Bolt or Soulfire, it's probably better to do something else. Probably better to fear, probably better to focus on something else. If you're playing Arena, for example. However, this is 3% crit. Right? You could take this away. You could take these two away. I personally, or take out the mana. I feel like I go all of the time. You can see, life tap takes 851 health from me. That's a lot. And I'm life tapping all the time. I feel like I'm just killing myself with life tap. I'd rather be able to sustain with mana because we already have so much damage. Could go for the 3% crit. And it's arguably better. Arguably better, but I like to play with the mana. I might switch things around because I got the knack now. That helps me with the mana. For Arena, if you're playing 3v3, there can be scenarios where you don't have a healer. If you have a healer, you don't necessarily play with it, right? You can not play with this and go for Backlash, right? Also, Pyroclasm is good, 6% more damage. But the thing is, we have so much damage already. We have so much damage already. I'd rather be able to sustain and get mana. I feel like that's been the biggest problem for Destro right now. And Destro is overpowered. I get it. These are the problems with Destro, is they go too fast and they die too fast. Or not too fast. They die fast and they go. Conflict rate, we like that. Shadow and Flame, more damage, we like that. This is essentially probably the best talent you have, along with Chaos Bolt, Shadow Fury. Shadow Fury, very good. This makes your conflict rate crit, and you do more damage with Chaos Bolt to targets with Immolate, right? Chaos Bolt, you all know what that is. So, let's go over the enchants. Soul Link, you need Soul Link. Otherwise, you die instantly. Don't need this with Demonology because it's already in the talents. But you need this here. Same goes for Master Summoner, Glyph of Soul Link, and Fell Domination. Fell Domination, Master Summoner. If your pet dies, you can resummon it and put Soul Link on again. We go for Decimation. Decimation is insanely good. So when you get Backdraft, you get 30% cast time reduction. On top of 40% cast time reduction. Soulfire with proper haste goes down to like 1.2 second cast after your conflags. It's super good. It's insanely good. Along with Chaos Bolt, that's essentially your biggest damage. You can global someone when you get a conflag, and Soulfire, Chaos Bolt, Shadow Fury, Shadow Burn, Warlock with the pet, whatever. Now, this one is kind of a flex. Kind of a flex one, right? I'll show you. You can go for Unstable Void. The problem with this one is it doesn't always do it. I thought it always gave you Backdraft. It doesn't always do it. It says it can trigger Backdraft. So it's an inconsistent. So I see more value out of it. If it was 100%, it would be better. So you can also go for Endless Flames. This makes your Shadow Flame conflagrate hit like a truck. Very good if you're being trained. I think this is a good choice, but it really depends on how your playstyle is. Third one is something I don't have. Some people say it's only for PvE. I personally think it's very good. So the direct damage from Immolate's not as much, but your Immolate conflag does more damage. Problem with it is probably going to get dispelled a lot of the time. However, if you have a lot of pressure, healers don't really have time to dispel it. It's lower in the priority. If everyone's full HP, this is going to get dispelled a lot. When you immolate, you're going to be casting Chaos Bolt way more, right? If you between your Chaos Bolt and your Soulfire, you can immolate two targets, immolate the pet even. You get Chaos Bolt more often. We're talking arena-wise. BGs, you can cast immolate multiple targets, and you're going to have Chaos Bolt a lot of the time. I would say this is very good. Unfortunately, you don't have it. So you can run Inner Flame too, which is what I have. Inner Flame is very good too. Can be very good to get guaranteed crits on your Chaos Bolt, Soulfire, whatever. And especially because you want to run haste. That's why I went for the wrong gear. I should have went for the haste gear. You can see I get 10% haste. Kind of want 10% haste as Destro before you go for crit. Having no haste, it's gonna be very hard to get casts off. So try and get 10% haste. I'm running Spellstone right now. It's probably better to run Firestone. But you want to try and get 10% haste from gear so you can run Firestone. Chaos Bolt, reduced by 2 seconds. I like that. And Conflict Rate. This is absolutely mandatory when you're running it. Don't want to remove your Immolate or Dots from using Conflict Rate. This is mandatory. Stamina, this is flexible. You can change this around if you want. Open world PvP, healing with your pet can be useful. Depression, if you need hit rating, use that instead of this. This is 3% hit, very good, and mana reduction. I like Demonology. Again, you can run Unending Resolve, can be purged. Don't really like that. I'd rather have the movement. The problem with Shadow Crash is, look at this. It takes ages to throw this. And it does a slow. If you use it on top of you, it instantly explodes. And to do that, it's good to leap in and use it on you, right? It's way more consistent. And you can Shadow Fury as well before you use it if you want. Again, this is a slow too. It's a 70% slow on all of them. And what makes it good as well is you can Demonic Leap, Shadow Crash, Hollow Terror. Now you've feared 3 targets that got together. You got there instantly, and you can CC all of them, right? That's very good. It's a playmaker, essentially. So as Destro, you're not as tanky as Demonology. Kind of have to play it differently. You have a lot of burst. Try to play around Shadow Fury. When you have Shadow Fury, you can make plays. And you can leap in and Shadow Crash and Shadow Burn. You can do a lot of things. You can actually lock a person down and kill them 100 to 0 if you have your cooldowns. You don't necessarily need Death Coil. You can use Spell Lock. It's a 3-second silence. So even just Shadow Fury and Spell Lock, you can kill someone just within that window if you line it up correctly. Curse of Tongues on the healers, very beneficial. You want to be banishing Warlock pets. You want to be banishing Metamorphosis from Warlocks. Please don't banish me if you see me. You can do a lot of things with Destro. I'll show you a clip of how powerful they are. As you can see, seems like he stacks a Shadow Fury. Will I get him? Soulfire, Chaos Bolt, and it all lands at the same time. It dies. Right? This guy was not really, respecting the burst. Obviously, I crit from everything. Will I get him? And, yeah. It's kind of powerful, right? And you can't really position yourself like Metamorphosis because you can actually die with this spec. It's, you can easily die with Destro. Don't play too close to them unless you see a kill potential. Then you can leave and Shadow Fury and go for example, for the Howl. So I have at cursor on my Shadow Fury and my Shadow Crash, so I do it instantly instead of having to press twice. My macros are on my Discord, so if you want to check them out, Discord's in the description. Let's go for Affliction. The dots don't really do a lot of damage. They barely tick for anything. First, like right now, my spec, I don't really play it. You don't really want to go for everything I have here. Shadow Flame, slow, probably take that out. And this, you can take this out too. You want to go for Master Summoner, and you want to go for Spell Domination, because you want to be able to cast your pet, just like we had in Destro. You want to go for this, you want to go for this. Plays those two. You want to go for Soul Link, obviously Shadow Crash. You play Shadow Crash in every spec, as you can see. You can play different things. Affliction, I personally haven't played it enough to give recommendations on stuff like that. Affliction Mastery would probably never run it. Soul Harvest, you have to spend. Can be good in BGs, but Shadow Crash is realistically just better. 15% more damage, and you have to dot a lot of targets to have a good duration on it. It does cost a Soul Shard, so if you play this, you're almost never going to have a Soul Shard. Enslaved Demon, haven't tried it. I heard it's not really good. That's why I haven't tried it. Bane of Havoc sucks. In general, I would never play it in PvP. Nether Portal, not really good. Hand of Cooldown was good at level 30, but right now, the meta just doesn't work. You can't be casting 2-second casts for imps that can be stunned. They can be one-shot. They're not worth it. This Crazy Cultist is kind of shit because it can overwrite the curses that you have. So let's say I have an Agony, or I have a, let's say I have an Agony on a target. It can throw Curse of Tongues on a warrior and overwrite your Agony. Not really great. Or overwrite your Curse of Element. It's never good. Endless Agony, people say this isn't really good. So I would probably play around with Soul Swap if I was playing Arena. I would probably use that because getting the dots out there is the hardest part. When you have a melee on you, for example. Cataclysm, yeah, you don't need this. Soul Erosion. This, I haven't tried it, but I'm intrigued to see how much Drain Soul can do. But, personally, I would use Soul Swap or Shadow Crash. Go for the hit rating. Now, obviously, I can drop some gear. I could technically drop this. I just haven't played this spec for a while. I'll probably drop Suppression and go for Agony and Improved Fear. Unless you need hit rating, then you keep this. You can go for Shadow Embrace. It's good to have 1 point here, at least, because it puts a debuff on the target. Of course, go for Siphon Life, Curse of Exhaustion, Shadow Mastery, Contagion. Eradication is insane. 20% haste, very good. Instant Hollow Terror, we like that. Malediction, we like that. And the rest, just basic. Personally, I would not recommend playing Affliction right now. Meta is too bursty. You have to be able to get your casts off. Right now, your dots barely tick. Stable Affliction yesterday was doing around... I tried it yesterday. Stable Affliction was doing around 200 hits, around 400 crits. The most I had Corruption do was 550 crit in PvP. Not really great with the burst meta that we have right now. And that's, of course, with Haunt casted. So put yourself in a situation where you have 2 melees on you or people kicking you. To get Haunt and Unstable Affliction off to do that little damage. Not worth it. Not worth it to play, unfortunately. Now, if you want all the macros that I use, I have them on my Discord. I leave that down in the description. If you want to check me out live, I'm live on Twitch and YouTube every day pretty much. I'll leave a link to my Twitch in the description too. And that's it for the video, boys. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like the video. I appreciate you guys watching. See you in the next one.